Next is about ethics of taxonomic publications. Ethics of taxonomic publications. An author of an taxonomic paper can criticize work of others in a dignified and courteous manner. Authors should not make an attempt to attack others personally. Mistakes of others can be pointed out or rectified in a constructive manner. An author of a taxonomic publication should follow the ethics of taxonomic publications. A taxonomist may often want to correspond with other taxonomists to collect information for his publications. While requesting these kinds of help, and requests should be specific and should not ask in general terms. Moreover, while requesting, one should avoid including anything private which he otherwise does not like others to read. A good taxonomist will not deliberately suppress any relevant details while publishing his findings. However, this sometimes happens inadvertently or through carelessness, and occasionally suppression is done deliberately to protect the identities, privacy, and personal information. So, during publishing, the author should be aware of this. A taxonomist correspondence. A taxonomist often finds it essential to correspond with others taxonomists requesting for information on types, reprints of publication, and reference of taxa. While requesting reprints, one has to be specific and should not ask in general terms. If one wants several reprints of the author, he has to explain briefly in his letter how far he has done his work and what are his future plans. He should also include copies of his publication along with the request. Without giving such background knowledge, an established worker may not be willing to spare his numerous research papers or reprints. When one receives the reprint, it should be acknowledged. If there is any expense incurred by the sender of the reprint by way of postage, it is necessary for the recipient to offer the expenses involved. While requesting reprints, the title of the paper and journal in which it was published and the year should be written clearly instead of requesting all your research papers, etc. So, requests for loan of specimens should also be specific with a brief description of the work so far done by the borrower and what he intends to do. He should also state that he must take utmost care in handling the specimens while studying them and pack them properly in the same way as they were perceived. The specimen should be returned as early as possible. All specimens should be labeled with determination labels. While returning it will be nice to add a few paratypes of other identified species of the borrower as donation to the lending institution. Add a few paratypes of other identified specimens of the borrower as donation to the lending institution. And while writing letters, one should avoid including anything private which he otherwise does not like others to read. This is because all such letters may form semi or official letters, and it is likely that many others in the office of laboratory may also read these letters. It will be the best interest of the sender of a letter to keep carbon copies of the letters he sends out, scientific record for future researchers for self-defense. In recent times, most scientists prefer to use electronic mail through internet instead of the slug speed mail. However, both corresponding scientists should write for hard copies for files in case of loan of materials and for other similar documents for the safety of lender and also for the other person. Then suppression of relevant details. Data suppression refers to the process of withholding or removing selected information, most commonly in public reports and datasets. No good taxonomist will deliberately suppress any relevant details while publishing his findings. However, this sometimes happens because of carelessness or inadvertently. For instance, failure to include details of variation in taxa, failure to mention a specimen which show intermediate features of two relevant taxa. A scientist may give the details of his findings to other workers or taxonomists, and the worker or taxonomist may sometimes fail unintentionally to mention that the information is based on the findings given by another scientist. Sometimes an individual may suppress data deliberately in order to protect the identities, privacy, and personal information of themselves or others. Data suppression is used whenever there is a chance that the information contained in a publicly available report could be used to reveal or infer the identities of specific individuals. It is important to properly analyze the data to know why the information is being withheld. This is especially important if you are doing suppression among data that are you are not familiar with.